I welcome you all in this really fantabulous gathering. Now, actually, I'm going towards my topic without wasting any time. It's Generation Gap. But before I formally start it, I want to say you that this is not a formal presentation. I actually want you people to interact with me, have interaction with me, interfere me, have questions, and do question me, because I'm not alone here to to make something. You people are actually required to do something. So that's why actually I am posing a question towards yourself. It's that the question might seem be simple, but it's not that. Is generation gap really a problem? So answer this question in your mind, and I'll get your answers after the presentation. So let's start over it formally. First of all, I'll give the outline. In the outline, first comes the definition of the generation gap, then comes the introduction, afterwards comes the positives and the negatives, and afterwards it's the reasons, and at the last I'll discuss the solutions of this problem, if it is a problem then. So the definition is actually 2 + 2 = 4, very simple. It's not a cryptic, it's not a rocket science. It says that generation gap is actually the difference of opinion between the different age groups of the family or even in a society. Alright? I'm supposing that you people are getting my point. If you are not getting, then you can intervene me, you can stop me, and I'll repeat it for you. Alright? So after the definitions comes the introduction, that according to the sociologist, it's about 1960s when generation gap was actually regarded as a problem. Alright? But here comes my opinion that it's not that. Generation gap was actually somewhere 2 centuries before. It's the epoch of industrial revolution, because industrial revolution was really the time when the technology was first introduced, and as all of you know that younger generation is actually much faster to conceive the technology. So that is the point where the segregation was there in the society. It was the epoch of the industrial revolution. So well, the society has been divided into the 3 sections, 3 parts by the sociologists, and the first are the children, the second one are like us, the middle age, and at the third one are the retired age. So actually the generation gap is the friction among these 3 sections, these 3 segments of the society. So are you people getting my point, what I'm saying? Alright. So then comes the next part, which are the pros and cons of the generation gap. Well, everything has positives and negatives, and generation gap has been regarded as a problem. But to me, it's not that problem. It has positive aspects also, under which I'll discuss that sometimes it is really important to be out of the circle, out of the conservative circle, out of the orthodox circle, out of the ambit, so that you can bring something new, bring something innovative. So the point is actually that you need not to follow your elders 100%. Actually, I'm going to describe that point with an example of the 10th class from Mutalia, Pakistan. It's that I have studied that it was the time of the partition of the subcontinent, during which there were 2 sections, 2 segments of the mullahs. One were under the flag of the Muslim League, and rest of the mullahs were under the the Ahrar party or other parties as well, like Congress party. So the mullahs of that parties actually made a fatwa against the the sound coming from the speakers, the fan the air which is coming from the fan. So what ridiculous things! If the younger generation of that mullahs follow them completely, oblige them completely, then you can have a better idea than me that where would the subcontinent would fall. We are already backward, and what if we follow them completely? So the point is, you need not to have to follow your elders at all the time. to bring the innovation, to bring something new, you need to be a bit different. All right. So it's the positive point of the generation gap, because generation gap really provides you that innovative things. So now comes to the negative part. It's actually has caused social disorganization. Now social disorganization is actually on different levels, that like the culturally people are declined, morally we are declined, we people feel hesitant to speak in Punjabi, to wear shalwar kameez while during an interview. So these are some points, and actually there the family as an institute has been almost destroyed by this generation gap. The lady, the ma'am, before me described this point a bit, that the family has been destroyed. There's a huge gap between the parents and the children, and that's only because of the communicational barrier. And remember, this communicational barrier is only due to the generation gap. All right. So moving on to the next point, it's actually the reasons of the generation gap. So to me, the basic reason is actually the technological advancement. The younger generation is actually more faster to conceive the new ideas, the new technology, while the conservative or the older generation is not that able. All right. So this is the point of the segregation where the generation gap lies. So now moving on to the solutions, that how can we deal with this problem. So first of all, we need to how to deal with this problem. All right. So to lessen we can deal this problem with by lessening the gap between these two extremes, the extremes of the younger generation, and here is the older generation. All right. So now the question arises, how to limitize this gap. This can be done by removing the communicational barrier, and this communicational barrier can be only removed by introduction right things to the right people. Actually, I'm talking about introduction of the technology to the elder generation, so that they could be able to conceive the minds of the younger generation, and introduce the cultural patterns you have got in your society to the younger ones. So this is the only way they can be on the same line, be on the same page. So that's it. And actually I have got some verses which will be quite funny for you. The poet is actually from the elder generation. So hear this from him, for his perspective. It says that tab, computer, laptop, or actually I'm forgetting, tab, computer, laptop और प्ले स्टेशन अपनी समझ से बाहर है ये इंटरनेट जनरेशन. टैब, कंप्यूटर, लैपटॉप और प्ले स्टेशन अपनी समझ से बाहर है ये इंटरनेट जनरेशन. रात को इसका दिन चढ़ता है, सारे काम हैं पुट्ठे. रात को इसका दिन चढ़ता है, सारे काम हैं पुट्ठे. फजर अजाने सुनकर सोए, मगरिब अजाने सुनकर उठे. और LOL है इनका हासा, OMG है रोना. LOL है इनका हासा, OMG है रोना. स्टेटस पहले चेक करना है, मुंह है बाद में धोना. And the last one is not actually for sir, but I am pointing out that और लेक्चर सुनना पड़ जाए तो हो जाती है फ्रस्ट्रेशन. अपनी समझ से बाहर है ये इंटरनेट जनरेशन. So that's all from my side.